Hello and welcome back to the OtherThan podcast. It's really good to be back, and we're really grateful to have you joining us again. Nearly how long? Like everyone keeps reminding us, like nearly a year on. And so I guess we should probably do a little bit to kind of explain the break. We were busy, innit? Like we were just busy. And life kind of got intense and got. Our schedules became very, very packed out. I was working, Jazz has been working, and so we're just really grateful and really happy to be able to be back here and obviously try and offer the value that you guys seem to receive from the first two podcasts. Jazz, do you wanna take on?
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely it. Because I really appreciate every time I meet someone and they express their love for the podcast and like what we're discussing on it. And just to be really clear, it means a lot to both me and Sam to do this podcast, and it is something we'd like to now do way more consistently than we had done in the past. But all of that support, all of that feedback, all of like everyone that's ever got in touch to say anything nice or bad about the podcast really means a lot, and like we appreciate it. Glad to be back, and now we'll be doing it a lot more regularly than before. Happy New Year as well, everyone.
New Year.
Yeah.
Today we are here with a very, very special guest, man. It's my bro, lovely guy, wonderful actor, and someone who, in my own personal life, feel like I gain a lot of like wisdom from. Aaron Fontaine, thank you so much for being here, bro.
Thanks for being here, bro.
Well, thanks for having me, fellas.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You guys have got some good problems, man. That busy schedule. That's good problems, man.
It is a good problem, nah, for real.
Sort of problems that you're used to, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah. There's been busy times. There's been not busy times. So yeah, it's just the way it goes, isn't it? Cycles.
I think
Get into that for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because like from knowing you, for me, we always speak about like who we're gonna have on next.
Yes.
So, and we just go back and forth. Sometimes their name will just come up and we'll both be like, yeah. Like there's no conversation. It's just straight like, yeah, that's the guy. And that's what happened literally the day that I called you and said, do you want to do it? It was just like instant, yeah. 100%.
He was like, yeah, let me call him now. Call me back like 3 minutes later.
Love, man.
Aaron said, yeah.
But that's from knowing you, from meeting you, which is so funny as well because I've actually met you through you.
You're the link.
And we
Yeah,
met
you're the link.
on a podcast.
Yeah, we
which
met
was
on a
actually
podcast.
crazy.
Oh, really? It was a podcast?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
shit.
deep in it the other day. I was like,
Yeah. And I remember how I met you was because I met Sam and I was like, yo, bro, like, where's the acting classes in London these days? And he was like, he gave me some good suggestions, innit? And he goes, but yeah, go to Go Hub.
Yeah.
I was like, sick. I goes, where is it? He goes, it's an old street. I goes, just down the road from my house. So then I kept texting him. I'm like, yo, tell your boy I'm coming this week. And then I came, and then that's when I met you. And he was like, oh, what, you play balls?
Yeah.
And then it kind of just...
I remember it as well
yeah.
because you was away. You told him to come, but then you went away. I think he was in South Africa.
yeah, I was.
Yeah.
And then when we met, I can't explain. You know when you meet someone sometimes,
vibe.
you're kind of like, nah, like I get it. Like, do you know, I understand this guy. So I remember feeling some sort of like connection to you almost instantly. We spoke, I remember after that first workshop.
Yeah, well...
But from knowing you and getting to know you sort of like on a deeper level, on a friendship level, I find like your journey like super, super interesting. And I think it's kind of everything that we consider, not consider, because I think all journeys are just as kind of like wonderful and beautiful as each other. But like people like yourself and looking at your journey is something that I really, really appreciate, and it resonates like deeply with me. So that's why we wanted you on to kind of like hopefully share your experience on like how you've navigated it over the last however many years. But just sort of like the mindset that you have, because I think you're very much like us. You're completely committed to the reading that you do, to becoming a better person, not just as an actor. You're like, you're deep. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if people that don't know you would know that about you. But you're a guy that is constantly recommending books, reading this, trying to find wisdom in all different ways, and I just think it's an amazing quality to have. Something I find truly inspiring.
Thank you. It's my granddad always told me when I was younger, because me and my brother, right? It's me and my brother growing up, and he was always a quiet one in the corner.
Yeah.
Like real pretty boy and quiet. And I was always the live one. I'm always asking questions and stuff. My mum would be like,
But loud.
hey, I want no pretty boy, bro. I had a massive head, just as bald head. He had the curls, I had just the bald head. And my mum would be like, oh, why is he asking so many questions all the time? And my granddad would be like, stop saying that. He's inquisitive. Let him stay inquisitive. And to this day, like, I always want to know stuff. Even about my family, especially about my family. I ask those questions that you don't really ask your dad or your mum or your grandma or something. Because I want to know where I come from. I want to know what, who's influenced me via the DNA or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, without me even knowing. So yeah, that's probably where that inquisitiveness comes from.
Family's quite a big thing for you as well.
Yeah.
That's something I think that kind of connects us all really as friends.
Yeah, and it's not even like blood family. I'm talking about, like, I consider you guys family. Like, people who, they get you, accept you. You know what I'm saying? Accept you, and they just understand. And you just have a genuine connection to them. So it's not even just a blood thing. It's
You're a tribe.
a tribe,
Yeah,
for sure.
I have a question, just
Go on.
because this is something that I think will help to like sort of set us off in terms of the way you sort of approach life and the way that you think about certain things. So I'd say from the outside looking in, you've definitely achieved some things that people would then choose to describe you as successful, right? So and I hope you identify with that, because I look at you and I think you're successful. You seem to very much enjoy your life.
See, this is why we're family, because I look at you, I'm like, successful, you know what I'm
But
saying?
I think that's why we vibed.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
After the podcast,
That's why your circle's got to be like
the
that.
circle, yeah. But shout out to the British Blacklist and that.
Word.
But yeah, how would you define success? Because I think it's very different for kind of each person. But I think I'm curious, but I'm sure like people watching and listening would like to know as well. Like, just first and foremost, how do you define success?
Mine's as simple as setting a goal and reaching it, and then understanding that there's another goal once you reach that goal, and that's success to me. Like, aspiring to do something and it works, the plan, you get fulfillment out of it, or like I can't see someone else's success and be like, this is what we tend to do as well. A lot of people tend to do is we look at the accomplishments of our peers or strangers, and we look at our successes or accomplishments and we belittle them. It's like, it's not as big as that. It's not. So what I actively do is try and stay in that mode of, all right, here's my goal. This is my lane. This is what I want to do. And this is my success. Like, even when I was, before acting, I was on Choice FM radio with Richard Blackwood. That to me was success, because I was out at the ends. I wasn't getting into badness, and I was meeting, like, first day I was there, I met Kevin Hart. I was like, wait, this is a guy from Soul Plane.
That's mad.
You know what I'm saying? And then,
Like, this is before
this is before he was even in Soul Plane.
Yeah.
And then after that, after the show, I was like, okay, cool. I'll just go home. Now I went in his car with his ex-wife, and I was riding around London with them, talking to them, and just getting mad inspiration from them. Wow. With my friend Beresford Mack, who took me to Choice FM. So like, that to me was another level of success. You feel me? Like, you went somewhere to gain something, and you got something out of it.
So it's more of a journey thing than like a destination.
For sure. It's like, if success is a destination, then we have to stop setting goals. You feel me? Because whenever you reach one destination, there's always going to be another.
Something changes.
Right, because you don't have the information yet.
Of course. Yeah.
When you get there, you gain new information. That's why you go around different people. That's why you go around new environments and stuff. You gain new information, and then your sight becomes more clearer, and you have more things on the horizon that you want to achieve.
Yeah, nah, I feel you.
To me, it sounds like that's really important to you, though. Sort of being able to, like you said, you're quite inquisitive, but to like actively, willingly, like look for a way to change perspectives. Because I don't think that's the way necessarily everyone thinks. Some people are like, this is where I grew up. These are the people that I grew up with,
right.
My family, and I'm very sort of comfortable, content, maybe complacent and sort of just happy here, you know. But to like be someone that's like, yeah, no, I like taking in new environments, I like taking in new information, I like meeting new people and discovering myself in these places. Like, where do you think that came from for you?
I think it's something about having a mindset of the underdog and always learning. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't go traditional route of acting. I don't think
None of us.
Yeah, none of us did. So like, and especially being an outsider, because I'm from Luton. So I'm like, you know, you guys have a step ahead of me because, you know, you started early or whatever. So I was like, nah, I need to learn whatever these people know. Or just stepping into a new environment and having a mentality of an underdog. Or just having the mentality of, maybe not underdog, but a student. And whatever set you go on, the youngest person there can always be a teacher. You feel me? So I think that's where it comes from. Just always being inquisitive, being a student, learning. And that helps with the ego as well. It helps you, well, helps me anyway. Helps me keep the ego down.
Were you always so focused on stuff like that? Because like,
What about on ego? Or
well, I suppose just your overall outlook and mindset on life. I think it's beautiful now, but I think a lot of the time when we think about who we are as people, we see that as being shaped from like our upbringing or like the people we're around. And as you were just saying, you didn't come into acting in the most conventional way. None of us did. But like now, do you find the person you are is in any way much of a representation of the person you were 10 years ago or the people you were hanging around? Because you are someone, I would say, from knowing you, who has kind of broken away from being on one sort of journey and finding yourself almost kind of like in isolation or in through meeting new people that you weren't around growing up with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when did that switch happen for you? Because before Choice FM, this is like obviously now even before acting, but like maybe for the people that aren't so familiar, like what was your journey to acting and sort of where were you at as a person before then, and how was that sort of navigating bit from bit?
Okay, cool. So I've always done my own thing anyway. So whether I was, you know, on the road with certain people, I've always done my own thing. I always had I had groups of friends. So I had different groups of friends. It wasn't just popular kids. It wasn't just the tough kids. It wasn't just street boys. It was so many different groups of friends. Even in school, I would sit and speak with the guys who weren't popular. I would sit and speak with the people who were popular. And my teachers used to say to my mum and parents, even they said, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he stays so popular because he's
against the grain.
Right. Yeah. So I've always had that mindset. But when it changed was when I've always had a strong faith in a higher power, and there's always something, I don't know what it was. Then I called it God. Now it's the universe, it's God, whatever you want it, whatever it is to you. And I've always had this thing of cause and effect, right? So I'll do something and I'll be like, okay, well, I understood that will come back around, whether it's good or bad, that's going to come back around on me. And then I remember I had the opportunity at Choice FM, and then I went back to the ends and something happened. And I was sitting in the back of this police car and I was like, yo, this is mad. This could like...
Change yeah.
At the time, like when I was at Choice, it was up here. Like this is everything. This is my future, you know what I'm saying? And then, but this is the family, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting in the back of the police car and because something happened and they were searching the car or whatever, blah, blah. And I was the driver, and then they were like, I was sitting in the back of the police car and one policeman was searching the car. There's nothing in the car. And one was with me in the police car, but he was, you know, his late shift. He was like, he just wants to go home and stuff. And I was like, what's going to happen now, right? Because I don't know what my boy's got on him. And then I see him getting arrested. I was like, yo, this could be real sticky.
Like
You know what I'm saying?
crossroads.
And then I remember going to myself in my head, I said a prayer. I said, yo, if you get me out of this situation right now, I'm never, ever, ever going to do any of this again, any of it again. Yo, they came round to the police car because before that, I said to the driver, the person who was in the police car with me, I said, the policeman, I goes, what's he getting arrested for? He's like, don't know, mate. So I started going, how can I get on their good side? How can I get on their good side? I was like, yo,
These kids.
I was like, how do you be a policeman? Because there's a little stigma and stuff, but just trying to chat and get on the good side. But then when he came round to my door to let me out, he goes, yeah, you can go. I was like, I can go. He goes, yeah, you can go. I was like, all right, cool, get in the car. And everything that I was doing, I dropped it from that moment on, because it was like I understood the cause and effect. And you have to go. If you're gonna go with something, you have to go with it without any anything holding you back. Like so it's like I can't be around anyone who's going to potentially jeopardize my path, my journey. So what I did was I didn't lock any of the man them off. What I did was I said, okay, I'm going over here. I went to uni in London. Right, I went to Middlesex Uni. That's not to get the grades. That was to have the accommodation to be in London, so I can be closer to Choice FM for one, but also so I can start studying.
What did you study at uni?
TV production.
TV production, okay.
So it's like making your own short films and directing and whatever. But yeah, I use the accommodation just to be in London, so I can go to classes, so I can get an agent and whatnot. And like I always said, anyone who wants to succeed, you have to apply yourself first, and success comes at the end of application. So once you apply yourself, the path just opens up and things just start to happen. And that's what happened. I was on Choice FM one time, and I used to do the run-in and stuff and do the co-producing, and then I moved to the co-host with Richard Blackwood. But before that, I was with Angela Marr in the morning on Saturday mornings, and she was she writes plays. She used to write plays and direct them and stuff and put them on. And she was doing this play at the Hackney Empire, and she was doing this audition over the airways. And she was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this audition, this email, blah blah blah. So I said to her, yo, because I've always wanted to be an actor from young. This is what I came to London for, this moment here. So I said to Angie, I goes, well, I'm an actor. I've been around her for like 2 years before that. I goes, I'm an actor. She goes, you're an actor? I goes, yeah, I'm an actor. She goes, all right. I don't know if she believed me at first, but she goes, all right, I'm gonna give you an audition. I'm gonna email you the script, and you're gonna learn it, and you're gonna come for the audition. I was like, boom! I got my shot. And this play was gonna be at the Hackney Empire in the studios. I was like, sick. So I go, so she emailed me the script, and these times here I learned the whole script. You know what I'm saying? Like I just learned the whole script. I didn't know they had to learn just a scene. I learned the whole script.
Whole play, crazy.
And then I had like 2 weeks for it. But I was in my uni room, like brushing off uni work, just banging out this script. And then I went down to Hackney, done the audition, and she goes, you got it, man. I goes, are you serious? She goes, yeah, I got it. Wow. I goes, sick. So I went to Richard. I said, Richard, can you invite your agent down to come watch me? And he invited his agent down, and his agent took me on. Wow. And and I was like, this is it. But then here's where life turns left, because I always understood life comes in cycles. Just naturally from a young age, always like where there's a good, there's a bad, right? So I started uni in 2007. I left uni in 2010. When I started uni, I had older brother, and I had a home. When I left uni, I was homeless. I didn't have an older brother, and I had a son. So I was in a position of, what do you do? Do you go find a job, like a normal job, and forget about your career or the career that you intend to go on? Well, it's already started. I'm already doing a play in Hackney Empire, even though it wasn't the biggest of productions. It was started. Or do you carry on and you proceed? And I always look for signs. Even now, I always look for signs, like the universe is telling me or the God's telling me. And like even this morning, I look for signs. Any sign I look for, it's always like the ancestors are just telling me something. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as he was born, I booked an advert. I was like, oh, all right. So maybe I should carry on with this. But then I went on like, say, 30 more auditions and then booked nothing else. You know what I'm saying? But that advert paid for his cot, his everything. You know what I'm saying? And these times I had to grow up. So I can't be running around the streets with the man no more. Like, we're not even on the streets, but I can't be, you know, just being frivolous, having frivolous relationships and you know, just hollering face. Yeah, irresponsible, right?
How old were you at this time as well?
20.
20, cool.
20 years old, right?
We have to go deeper into
Yeah, we're gonna have. I just want to say this is why you're my boy as well, yeah, because I know all of this stuff, but it's so different. You get into a scenario like this, and like whether or not you guys have spoken about this, or obviously anyone that's going to view it, your openness to just kind of share these things is like, I think it's just what it's all about. And someone like you now, obviously you've got quite a big following on Instagram, and like from a social media perspective, I can understand how someone could see you, your position or your life as one particular thing. But the adversity you've already been through at 20, to still even just be acting now, wow.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's just like, it's if you want to do it, you're gonna do it, right? That's why, like, you know, in Go Hub or any other workshop you go to, anyway, if anyone asks me, what do you want to, like, if I want to be an actor, then do it. Like, you're gonna find a way. I can show you the door, but you have to walk through. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to do it, you're gonna do it for sure. And no matter what happens, what kind of adversity happens, whatever you want to do in life, you can do it, as long as you stick to it. You got to apply yourself. Like I said, success is at the end of application. Yeah. So
how easy was that? Because obviously it sounds like from quite a young age, you always had your sort of head on your shoulders and a very clear way of kind of viewing and approaching life. But having a child, but also losing your brother in a very similar period while you're trying to start your career, how easy was that to sort of maintain? Like what was that 6 months or first year like, where it felt like the odds were completely stacked against you?
So I lost my brother in 24th February 2008. And by that time I hadn't acted yet. I was just doing training and stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I was doing, tell a lie, I was doing improv comedy shows in Soho. And that was sick. They were probably sick. So I was doing improv comedy shows in Soho.
Stand-up is like the hardest. I think the hardest sort of art form.
No, it wasn't stand-up. It was more like, yo, here's the situation.
Okay.
The crowd says something, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Make it funny.
Still hard, though.
It was very difficult. It was very difficult. But it was fun. You know what I'm saying? So then I didn't get my first theatre job until summertime 2008. So it was like, say 5 months, 6 months before I got an acting job. But when you're going through something, you don't know you're going through it until you're out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my grief, I only realized 2 years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, that I was out of grief. Well, that intense grief. I was like, wow, that filter just lifted off my eyes now. You know what I'm saying? I'm really getting back to myself. But you don't know you're in it until you're out of it. So, and then having my son, it's like, all right, cool. This is what life is. It's no one's exempt from it. Life just happens, and this is from what I've done. So deal with it.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, yeah, it's a lot different mindset when you get older and you've got money to your name, and you know you're not struggling and finding out how your child's gonna eat or where you're gonna sleep that night or whatever. Because now I can sit back, and if life throws something at me, I'm like, okay, cool, let's handle it. Yeah. But then it was a thing of, I'm gonna handle it, but I'm handling it in a way of tunnel vision, practice lines, boom, boom, like disregard it, handling it. You know what I'm saying? Like in an unhealthy way. But that's when you first start acting, and like acting, an audition is everything. Like it's so precious and stuff. So yeah, it's a different mindset now.
What do you think brought you into this new mindset? Because I still want to talk about your approach to like coming out of adversity. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, we all face adversity in many different ways, but I think, and this is me hearing some of the stuff you're saying now for the first time, I'm like, that's mad. If I was 20 and I was going through a similar situation, like homelessness, one, is I think anyone that can kind of overcome that and still find a way to like find their feet, I think is mad commendable. And I know a couple of people that have gone through that, but then to also like have a child and to also be chasing this idea of a dream that you know and people constantly remind you is really unattainable and unrealistic. Like, but then to have all those to have those responsibilities as well, like I definitely want to cover it. But what do you feel like shifted your mentality? Because I think they're kind of two separate things. Like for sure, to have that hunger, to have that desire to go after your career is commendable. And to kind of get lost in it in a way and to be obsessed with it, I think is commendable when it comes to certain goals or ideas, right? You want to achieve something, just focus on it, and that's probably the easiest way to get there. But how or what shifted you to where you're at now, which maybe seems a lot more in flow rather than like trying to force something to happen?
Right. I think that shift was there's acting is therapy, right? So when you do certain classes, I really felt it was therapeutic. I did a Meisner class, like the whole course. Sorry,
The Actors Temple one.
Actors Temple one, right? Did you
How
done
did you
that?
know that?
Because I've been to Actors Temple.
But how
Right.
did you know he went?
He said Meisner course. That's
Oh,
like the only.
right.
That's the only place that I know about
Yeah,
that does
yeah.
like. Meisner.
Right, yeah. So I done that course, and that's when I was like, ooh, damn, like nothing is serious. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that's when I realized what acting is as well. That's when I realized I didn't know what I was doing when I was acting before. So I think that was the shift of realizing like life just happens, man. And I don't know if there was a moment where there was a shift. I think it was just understanding that life comes in cycles. There's a good, there's a bad, there's a good, there's a bad, and it's all the same thing. And that's why I like stoicism as well, because it deals with, it doesn't give you fairy tales. It doesn't give you
Raw highs or
right. It's just like it's what it is.
Yeah.
And when you want, like Buddhists say life is suffering, and literally life is suffering. When you understand that, life is great. You feel me? So yeah, that's I don't think there was an actual shift. I just think it was more of a evolution in a way of thinking. Yeah, because you always understand something's there, but you can't put your hand on it. You can't put your finger on it. You know what I'm saying? But you just always know something. You just know how to handle situations. It's instinctive. And death is going to come to everyone. Everyone's lost someone. Everyone's going. That's the only thing we have in common with everyone on this planet. Is everyone.
Literally talking about this.
You feel me?
Like 2 days ago. Yeah.
So, it's going to happen. Whether I'm coming to your funeral, wherever you're coming to mine, it's going to happen. So, yeah, when you stop fearing stuff like that, I think you just naturally have an evolution in a way of thinking. I don't know.
So to keep on sort of going through it, so you get this play now, you end up signing with Richard Blackwood's agent.
Yeah.
After that, I'm sure there's lots of auditions and maybe some like other wins along the way that kind of give you the sign to continue going. But then, like something what we spoke about this the other day, that kind of like first big break was Hollyoaks.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
TV break and one that I suppose
It
financially,
it affirmed to me that I can do this.
Yeah. How long between that first play to that?
5 years.
That's a 5-year period.
Yeah.
Which again, as well, like, it'd be so easy to kind of skip through this and be like, yeah, boom, 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 boom. But like 5 years is a long time to grind away at anything. And for that first kind of not that all the other wins along the way weren't substantial or meaningful, because they are, because they all add to sort of building this journey.
Yeah.
But it's still a very long time dealing with everything you're doing, becoming a father, dealing with homelessness, just navigating life. That after 5 years, you finally get this other thing that kind of reaffirms that, like, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah. It changed my life in such a way where I wasn't like moving and relocating wasn't unknown to me, because obviously I'm a foreigner to Londoners.
Yeah.
So moving up to Liverpool and stuff was it was like it's part of the journey. And then, you know, getting your first piece of money, you're like, oh, geez, I ain't seen that much money on my bank account before. But then as you get older, you're like, okay, you know what I'm saying? That's like, it's all relative, isn't it? So that there for me, I remember I got the audition, right?
Oh, this is a crazy story.
I got the audition, bro. Like
the day I asked him to do this, I never knew this.
My days, like, so done the audition. Bear in mind, I had
with the same agent. Sorry, that you were with Richard Blackwood's agent.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. So I previous to this, I already had like 3 different castings for Hollyoaks, right? So I had a feeling that they kind of liked me. This is the first time I've really been liked by a production. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, so this is how it works. They like you until they find a role for you that, you know, you fit. So I go up to Liverpool on, it might have been a 3rd audition or whatever. And there's me, we're all unknown actors, but now you know them. So it's me, Reggae.
Bridgerton
Reggae.
Yeah.
It's bad that you said Bridgerton Reggae like he hasn't done other work.
No, but obviously Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Shout out Reggae.
Yeah, shout out Reggae for sure. He's a nice guy as well. Nick Sager.
Okay, yeah.
And who else was there? I think it was us 3. And then there's another guy called Aaron. Then there's some other guy, I forgot his name. But there's another guy called Aaron. So we're all talking now, and we all do audition, go back to London together and whatever, blah, blah, blah. About a week later, my agent calls me. He's like, oh, sorry, they've gone another way. I was like, you know what, done. I'm done with this acting thing. I'm done, bruv. Like, it's long. So, and then a day later, my old agent, he goes, are you sitting down? I said, yeah, why? I remember just come out of the shower. I goes, why? He goes, because you got the Hollyoaks job. I was like, what? Hey, what about the other guy? And he goes, so basically they casted the wrong Aaron. And then I was like,
Shout out that
Aaron, because it's mad. Like, I felt sorry for him at the same time, but it changed my life. That must have changed his life. I don't even know if he's still acting anymore. Hopefully he is. But then I was like, cool. And a week later, I'm going up there for like costume fitting or whatever. And I was speaking to them, and they're like, oh, do you know what happened to the other guy? I said, nah. They goes, well, he came up here, done his costume fittings, went around the studio, met everyone, and then they came in and there was like, the producer came in and goes, oh, who's that? He goes, that's Aaron. He goes, no, it's the wrong guy. It's the wrong Aaron.
Imagine, bro.
So he had to go back, and then I went up there. I was like, yo, you got the right guy, Bless.
Are you sure?
Because it's surreal, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
it's like you get casted for this TV job, which will put you, like, in terms of notoriety, you're everywhere. Everywhere. Like, you go from this to this in no time. Yeah, so that was also my lesson, that none of this is real. Like, you can't believe it. It's your job. You want, you have an aim. You have to have an aim in this thing. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this job? What do I hope to gain out of this particular job? And one thing Richard always told me is, don't believe it. Richard Blackwood's been at the highest of heights and he's dropped to the lowest of lows. He said, don't believe it. Don't believe the hype. It's all hype. And it's true. It's all hype. Like, you can't believe it. You have to appreciate it for sure, but you can't believe it. You can't get lost in it. Once you get lost in it, that's when you have to go back to the Meisner. You have to go back to the self-reflection, and or just go back to Go Hub and realize who you are. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's
a crazy story. And can I just ask as well, because say that didn't go your way and there wasn't a crazy twist to it, which meant that you ended up getting it. Do you think that could have possibly actually been the end of your journey at that point?
Yeah, the way I was feeling, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Imagine though. Like you've been doing it for a minute.
5 years, yeah. That's
5 years.
I said to myself,
but 5 years is not that long though, either.
Relatively in the acting
Yeah.
journey, maybe not. But like, you know, let's say you're grinding for 5 years to just get like your first.
You know what it is?
gig.
It's the 5 years.
It's tough.
It's 5 years of rejection.
Yeah.
So like, depending on how many auditions you have, like, it's 5 years of constant. You're not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
You're not what we're looking for. You know,
maybe that's a story you tell yourself, but
right? You're not. Well, that's what we
that first.
face this.
You internalize it.
Yeah, for sure. We face this rejection all the time, and it's traumatic. It can be traumatic. I don't know any other job in the world, maybe apart from like modeling or something, where you face this amount of rejection and you have to keep a sane peace of mind. This is why you can't believe it. You have to know who you are. You have to know what your journey is about, and you have to keep busy. Not just don't put your life in this acting thing at all. You can't. Like,
you know what's so interesting? This was the second part of what I was going to ask. I truly believe you can't make this thing your whole life. I think you have to give it everything. It can't be your everything.
Yes,
innit?
yeah.
But it's when your circumstance in life, whether that just be your financial reality or you're just kind of, you're spending your time doing lots of different things that like just categorically don't make you happy and they're not how you see yourself or how you envisage your life going. When that audition comes through, it's not like maybe how we might all look at an audition now, which is like, it's an audition, like, and you're grateful for it, but you don't maybe attach your full self to it. When you have nothing else going for you, it's not just an audition, it's an opportunity to change your life.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
So it's hard not to be like,
sure.
I need this.
So I'm talking about the boring parts in between the jobs. You can't make acting your life there. Like, you have to have a place within yourself where it's, you know, acting, like, this industry is a job, you know, and you have to have a place in your in your life where it's away from that. You have to have friends who are not actors as well. You have to have friends who make investments. You know what I'm saying? Just do normal stuff. It's not all. Every conversation doesn't have to be about, oh, did you get that gig? What about you heard about that? You heard about? It doesn't have to be about that. This world is vast and full of information and fun stuff to do. Travel, do whatever. So yeah, like, but for the person who's talking on your point, for who that audition will change their life, for sure. Like, you have to put everything into it because it's what you want to do. If like we said before, if you want to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
And that comes with at a sacrifice of your time. That comes with a sacrifice of your loved ones. And yeah, so that person who's going through that, they will just need to just carry on, really.
Yeah, because I think it's important that sometimes when I watch interviews or I hear someone speak, they come with lots of gems and you're like, wow, I'm really, truly inspired by that. But something I love about like having our own platform to kind of discuss these things is that we don't like miss these bits that, like, if I was watching this at home in a completely other position, I would hear that and be like, yeah, calm, like, don't make it everything, but like make investments. But I'm like, bro, like,
yeah,
I got nothing to invest, bro.
For sure.
Like,
Well,
I'm getting 2 auditions a year, and it's like, okay, I understand all of this. But how do I push?
So you can make investments. I'm not even just talking about financial investments.
money,
I'm talking about
that's what.
Yeah, so I'm talking about like self-investment.
Yeah.
So when I say investments, go do a Go Hub class Wednesday and Saturday. When I was in
apply.
when I was
Wow.
when I was on that break between season 2 and 3 of The Outpost, all I did was Go Hub Wednesday and Saturday, and there, you know, there was at first there was a hierarchy, like, oh, Wednesdays for the sick people, and then Saturdays is for, like, you know, the people, the beginners. So now I'm going to both. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to both, and I'm going to learn at both, and that's what I did for that whole.
You did as well. Yeah.
2019, from June to December, I was at Go Hub every single week, learning. And that progressed me in my acting career in between jobs. So I was learning on the Outpost, and then I came off. I was like, I need something else from you. I was like, I need to keep working and practicing and whatever. And then found GoHub. GoHub like changed a lot of, like it just made me better as an actor. Went back and done season 3 and 4, and then
I remember you felt so much better about the work because we were talking when you was out in Serbia, and you were like, you felt more ready.
Oh, for sure. Like,
and you had more responsibility.
Yeah, for sure. It was because initially when I first, because it was my first American gig that was going worldwide, right?
Yeah.
And I was like,
congratulations.
Thank you, Ren. Thank you. And I was like, they wanted RP guy, whatever. So I gave him RP. I watched it back, hated it. Hated it. Went back to went on to season 3 now, and I was like, they don't know the difference between RP and a well-spoken English person. I'm saying, so I like, we're quite well-spoken in comparison to what we would have spoken when we was teenagers, right? Again, that's the self-investment. We have to actively change the way we speak in order to be more
neutral across. Yeah.
I'd argue
adjustable,
it's more about
adaptable.
adaptable.
Adaptable, right? We have to be more adaptable, so we can't always. Anyway, that's self investment.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I went on to season 3, and I was like, cool, let me just do me. Loved it. Ever since then, I loved it. I loved season 3 and 4 just because of that. Hugely, a great part of that was due to GoHub. So again, self investment didn't cost me any money but GoHub money.
I'd argue as well, like, because even that, some people I would say, oh, but I still have to pay to go to a class, and I don't have necessarily.
Everything comes at a cost.
Everything does come at a cost, and I agree, and I think it's like what you said about that willingness to sacrifice. But I think to take it away from the financial aspect of things, or paying to do something that will help to better you as a person, which I think we will kind of have to do within the society that we live in. But I think what it sounds like to me is your investment in yourself is also the investment of your mentality and the fact that you choose to see the world in a certain way. So you're like, cool, I've already worked. Do you know what I mean? I've done this. I've made money. Someone like yourself typically would, like,
in this
especially
country,
especially in the UK,
yeah.
especially in the UK, they're not thinking, oh yeah, let me go and get some more training. Let me go and sharpen my tools in between one season and the next season, because you already got it guaranteed, right? Well, so it's like, for me, I'm listening to you and I'm like, that's someone that is invested in their growth and not just in the end product. Because you could have just been like, yeah, I've already got my check for season 2 guaranteed. Like, I'll just go and do what I did season 1 and it'll be fine. And when it comes to season 3 and 4, I'll just do the same thing and it'll be fine. Like, no one's going to say anything. But like, your commitment is to like improving yourself, and to, what I would argue, like, to enjoy your journey more, you kind of have to. Because, like, the person that you were on Hollyoaks, it's not necessarily going to cut it, because you've grown, you've changed.
I didn't know what I was doing earlier.
The way you look at your craft as well, hopefully has changed by then. Otherwise, like, people are like, oh yeah, that's Aaron Fontaine. He does the same thing on everything that he does. Like, he doesn't change, doesn't grow. So I think, like, I just think for me, the nuggets that I'm hearing is, oh, this is someone that genuinely cares about improving themselves, and so self-investment almost sounds like self-improvement, which I think can be kind of like, it can be kind of esoteric in a sense, but like, you're doing like practical things about it. And I'm sure it's not just GoHub that you're doing. I think you were asking me about like acting books, and you were also
you're
like,
a big reader.
You were reading a lot
massive,
all the time. And like Jaz was saying earlier on, like, you take in information and you're always like willing to learn. And this is something myself and Jaz were talking about. I think that's the major difference, I think, between people who I would view as successful and people who could maybe achieve more success, is just that ability to learn. Like you said, it's adaptability as well. That ability to be able to be like, I wanna do something. I don't have necessarily the tools to do that right now, but you know what? I know how to learn. I know how to change. I know how to apply myself, like you were saying, in order to try and bring myself closer to that goal or that success, as it were.
There was a bit of complex identity issue in there as well for me, because I didn't want to come in and be the guy who's on Hollyoaks because he's considered the guy next door, the pretty boy or whatever. I respect the craft, for one. That's first and foremost. Respect the craft and understand that if Denzel is still going to train with beginners, you ain't accomplished anything yet, bro. So you can go train with beginners. Like, again, ego. So yeah, like I didn't want to be seen as just this guy who gets casted because he might look a certain way. I want to be good and look a certain way. You get me? Like, yeah. So yeah, that was one of my, like, I actively try to do that, like improve myself because of those reasons as well. I'm not just gonna sit back and take the criticism of, you know, he's good looking, he's gonna get the roles. Nah, I earn it, shit. Feel me?
Funny as well to even say like he's good looking, so you got the roles, like, and to think of that as a criticism is like, it's also kind of mad because you're in the body that you're in, right? And I think, again, just to be able to be like, yeah, you know, I look good and I could probably get roles off of looking good, but like, nah, like I want to be sick. I want to be the best version of me that I can be.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? That's like, again, I think that's just a mentality thing. I just think it's really easy to look at the things that we have and kind of just like rest and like sit on it. And I'd say maybe, but then hearing the story,
but
it's so
to be fair,
different,
like that's an easier way to live. To rest and sit on it is like you have peace of mind and whatever, blah blah.
It feels like you had good people in your life though. Like
Yeah.
the advice that you spoke about, that Richard Blackwood gave you about like maintaining a level head throughout all of that stuff. I think that's kind of like fundamental to being able to navigate it. 'Cause especially like our generation now, I think it would be so easy to be like, I've done one thing, popped off, and you have followers or money or all of these things, like material things that obviously lots of people are attracted to, and you could use that to kind of like create distance between yourself and other people who are in the exact same position before you booked Hollyoaks that you were in. Do you see what I mean? So you like really buy into the fame and like lean into, now I am successful Aaron, instead of just continuing to be that same person, continuing on that journey and like doubling down even more really on everything you were on before after it comes. I think that is testament to you as a person, but also to like the wonderful role models you had in your life, obviously at that time. Like
I pay homage to those guys for sure. Yeah, they keep you grounded. Because Richard, when I was like 10 years old, again, this is something that it just anything I put my mind to, it happens. It just happens. Like when I love that. The reason when I first learned this was when I was about 7 years old, right? And this is a funny story. 7 years old, and I was sitting in the assembly in school, and my boy Marcus, he got to sit on a big chair, right? We was all sitting on the floor. He got to sit on a big chair because he got run over the day before he got run over. And so I was looking at him, I was like, yo, he's sitting in a big chair, man. I was like, I want to be sitting in that big chair. So then I went home now, and my mum took me and my brother out, and on the way there to the place we were going, I said to my mum, I want to get run over. And she went, don't you dare say that again, Aaron. 2 hours later, I got run over.
Mad.
nah.
I got run over. My mum had to drag me out from underneath the car. The tire was that close away from going over my neck. I was under. It wasn't like I got hit and poof, I was underneath the car getting dragged like that. That's why I got the scar down my face. And when I reflected on that later on in life, I was like, asking it should be given. You feel me?
Manifested that shit, yeah.
So yeah, like anything I've wanted, I've always been like, it's gonna happen because I want it. As long as you don't do anything to jeopardize your journey and your progression, it's going to happen if you want it and you work hard enough at it. For me, my personal journey. So yeah, like Richard Blackwood, I used to sit at home watching Singled Out when I was like 10 years old. I was like, yo, this guy's sick, man. Like, I wish he could be my friend or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And as life happens, I'm now sitting in the studio with him, just like this situation here, but imagine this is his radio. I'm in the corner like, yo, that's that guy I used to watch. And then Kevin Hart's over there. Like, so yeah, like I always understood the power of want. You feel me? And applying yourself, but one can't happen unless you apply yourself. I've always said like, dreams and prayers are never answered in the same spot that you pray in. You have to go out and you have to go get it. You feel me?
That's powerful.
But go back to yours. You said you can.
I think you can. I think it's I think that's where entitlement comes in, right? And there's that idea of, well, I've prayed, or I've done everything that I can do, and it's still not working out, and I'm still not getting the results, and I'm still not. In this case, I'm auditioning, I'm doing great auditions, and I'm still not getting a role, and I'm still not getting an opportunity. And why aren't I getting? I think it's really easy to. I think, like you were saying, actually, it's easier to kind of just like sit and rest and kind of blame everything outside of yourself. And this is something I wanted to say really early when you were speaking, but I feel like you're the sort of person that takes personal responsibility for the things that happens in their life. And I think when you are that kind of person, it means life isn't just happening to you.
It's happening for you.
It's happening for you.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of creating it as you go along. And it sounds so like airy-fairy, deep and soul, but I just think like you weren't planning to have a son. You wouldn't have planned to have lost your brother when you did. You wouldn't have planned to have been homeless. These things will happen, and it's very easy to be like, oh, woe is me. But like,
the world is against
me. All these things keep happening to me. Why me? Why me? But like to be like, no, okay, not why me. This is me, innit? So like, what am I now going to do about it? I think it's really easy to take for granted how much of a powerful mentality it is to be able to take the things that happen to us and then choose how we respond to them rather than like reacting to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's another thing I've learned. Don't stress over the things you're not in control of. Just let it go. I remember Amel Amin telling me, because I remember when Amel first went to America, like he was like the first of us to go to America, right? And he came to Choice FM, and he was talking about his move to America and whatnot, and he showed me his show reel and stuff. I was like, yo, if he can do that, I can do this. And like he showed me the bill and stuff, and like his end stuff in the bill. I was like, this is sick. And I would go to him for like, you know, some advice for auditions and stuff. He goes, yo, do your thing and let it go. You can't take it home. Like, you're not in control of it no more. You got to do it and let it go. You're not in control of that. And from there, I just kind of kept on going, like, let it go. You're not in control of it. Let it go.
There's honestly, like, I think so much to talk about still with your journey, but I just want to like, I think it's good to sort of like call out some of these things. We was talking about tribe right at the beginning, and it's just so funny that like your whole mentality and your approach to like, I suppose what brought you to Go Hard, but like how you're navigating your career and remaining that student that you were in the beginning is almost identical to like someone like yourself, who's like, because it would be easier for us to be like, wow, like Aaron's doing all these things. But I think this is what like bonds us together. Like even in your position also, you're both sort of doing the exact same thing constantly. So it's like
so to speak on that, all the books that I read, I realize there's always one common factor. There's always one common factor, whether it's The Alchemist, whether it's Ego is the Enemy, whether it's
big books.
Like it's all got the same message. And it comes down to, as long as you apply yourself, it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's where this pattern would happen with you. Like you started Go Hub, I could see where it was going to go.
He said it from
early before I saw.
I could see where it was going to go. And
but I think there's one thing of being like, okay, apply yourself. That could be, all right, I'm just going to go to class. I'm just going to do all the auditions in the world. I'm just going to do everything active for this thing that I think I want. But that doesn't really take into consideration the humility that you found, the kind of the grace, the level-headedness, the like ability to not lose yourself in this thing you think you want.
The openness.
Yes, it's a real. Because, yeah, you are obviously applying yourself and you're saying you want to be an actor, but like that doesn't necessarily bring the best out of people just striving for goals and dreams. So it can't just be about application, because I think lots of people apply themselves in a way that like from my perspective, it seems like it makes them unhappy, or it's consuming them in a way that doesn't feel so open or light as positive as what you're describing your journey on. So like, I don't want to discredit all of this other fantastic things that you've obviously done in your life with like having that humility and just sort of labeling it all as like, oh yeah, just apply yourself, because it's not just application.
It isn't, for sure.
Yeah. The first book I ever read was The Secrets of a Millionaire's Mind, right, by T. Harv Eker, and that was when I was 21, because Richard recommended me I read it. And one of the things that it said in there, it said it's not enough to be the right person in the right place. It's about being the right person in the right place at the right time. It's like you got to tick all these boxes. It's not just about being in the right place at right time. It's about being the right person in the right place at the right time. And somewhere along the way, with application, you have to always actively be looking out for answers in your prayers as well. If you're praying for this, you have to look for these signs. You can't just sit back and be like, all right, cool, it's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Blessings can come in a disguise. Like my blessing to be an actor from when I was, as long as I can remember, it came in a disguise of radio, which radio came in a disguise of basketball. And basketball came in a disguise of me getting kicked off the my football team because of my ego. You feel me? So all of these things like all trickle down to playing a part in the journey. So you always have to actively be looking for these blessings as well. Some people only, like Charlemagne the God says it the best in his book. He says people only associate an opportunity when it's associated with a check. You got to do stuff. I was at Choice FM for 4 years, not a penny in my pocket. But I got something far greater than that.
And they're the things that, like, you hear Choice FM, so you're thinking, oh, but he's at Choice FM. That's already a level of success. But like, you're at Choice FM for free.
And for 2 years.
To your grind, your hustle, your determination to be like, this is going to get me to something else, even if you're not quite sure what that something else is. That's like really, I suppose following those signs. Just for time as well, because I don't want to not be able to talk about like kind of bringing it up to date, because I think everything you've done up to the point we've discussed has been great, but thankfully it's got even better. So Hollyoaks, how long was you on that for?
A year.
So then after Hollyoaks, I'm sure again other things in between, but the next sort of like long stint, maybe life-changing thing, am I right in thinking that was Outpost?
Yeah.
And how long between leaving Hollyoaks to Outpost was that?
3 years.
Cool. So just so we're keeping up, yeah. So it's 5 years. It's longer than 5 years, but let's just call it 5 years. 5 years to get 1 year opportunity that changed your life.
Yeah.
Then you do that for 1 year, and then it's another 3 year grind, basically to get to this other big opportunity. So 8 years minimum we're talking. So again, I just want, like, I think it's important for us to always acknowledge, instead of looking at someone and like what we feel like they've achieved, the reality of your journey is it's not happened overnight, which is like,
it's not at all.
It's always important for people to sort of remember. What were those 3 years like after being on such a high with something like Hollyoaks and having some notoriety, as you said, fame, money, and then I suppose not having it in the same way you did for that year? What was those 3 years like getting to that next job? What happened then?
So I changed agents.
Yeah. So you was with one agent for quite a while.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I changed agents. Then I was doing bits done stints on Holby City and then Doctors.
Yeah.
And then adversity hit again in 2016. Like I came down with this illness.
I forgot about this.
I came down with this illness, and like it just took me out of the game, man, for like a year. Took me out of the game, and I was like, again, I thought, okay, it's been a nice run, you know what I'm saying? But what am I gonna do now? So I came down with an illness, and I was like, I didn't come out. I could probably count on two hands how many times I came out of my house that year because of the illness. And then I was like, nah, this there has to be something for this.
Yeah.
So I researched loads of different, holistic medical stuff, and then, it fixed itself. So I was like that from 2016 to 2000. So like from April 2016 to June 2017, I was in between that stage. I was in that a stage of, how am I going to fix this? What's going to happen now? How am I going to fix it? Like that was a proper low moment as well. So so that's what was happening then. And again, I thought, this is life. This was what happens in life. And don't know what we're going to do now, because I thought acting was over because of the illness. But we've got to do something. I was like, no, forget that. We're gonna tackle this. So I tackled it. And then in 2018, that's when I booked The Outpost.
Which you've just done 4 seasons of? 3 seasons?
3 seasons.
And finished that now?
I finished it.
So again, amazing like achievement and opportunity to be on like an American production for 3 seasons with, character, all of these different opportunities allowing you to grow as an actor and as a person, living away in Serbia.
Yeah.
But again, after like, I think it's just unimaginable for so many of us to be like having a year basically where you're completely like unable to do anything, not acting, like literally leave your house is like, we could have spent the whole podcast talking about that 1 year.
Yeah, for sure.
Then there's coming out of that, which is fantastic, but then there's still 2 other years before something really like happened to you, which again is just like testament to kind of that mindset and everything you've been talking about today. So you finished Outpost now. Congratulations on that again. And you're sort of back, I suppose, to a similar place, but in a slightly different circumstance where like you're unsure of what's coming next.
Yeah, just like everyone else, really.
Yeah.
It's like you're unsure, but now I've got the the financial need is very important for an actor.
Because it takes away the day-to-day stress.
It allows you to have the freedom to invest into something else. And basically that. It takes care of your family as well.
Which you do a really fantastic job of. But I wanted to, because you spoke quite highly about Go Hub today, which like obviously I really appreciate, and it's great having you there. But you're also someone who's been there, seen the benefit in it, and said, you know what, like where I'm from in Luton, people like me don't have that opportunity. And then what did you do about that?
So I came to you. I said, is it right if I take the formula to Luton? And the reason why I wanted to take the formula to Luton was because if I had Go Hub in Luton when I was growing up, when I was 18 and stuff,
you could have avoided so much shit.
Could have avoided so much stuff, could have saved so much time, and I would have been at a place comfortable in my ability a lot sooner and comfortable in myself a lot sooner. So I bring it to Luton because there's not that opportunity for them to, from people like us, to express their talent that way. And there's a hub in Luton.
I just think that's like amazing though, and like congratulations for doing that, because that's just like, that is pure application. You're just saying that boom, boom, boom. That happened so quickly, and then it was set up, and now we have Luton Acting Hub, where lots of actors who live and are based in Luton now attend and feel like they have their own sort of like opportunity to develop a tribe or a community of people that are on the same thing as them. But from knowing you, obviously, yes, like you've set it up, it is a business, but like you are passionate about, and sometimes I'm like, why does he care so much? But like, you just care about Luton, bro. Like you really, really do. And I think it's a beautiful thing to witness, because you're like, I just want people in Luton to have this. And that's, from seeing it all unfold, I know that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So again, like after everything you've been through, to still be like, do you know what, man? I'm gonna go and do something for other people. Just complete testament to who you are as a person.
Love, man. Love.
So congratulations on that.
Yeah, it's dope, bro.
Thank you.
That's dope, bro. There's still, as for me, I'm still just like, I want to like.
There's so much, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Like the time's there, so you know how long we got left. But like, I guess I should try and frame this into some kind of question, because there were so many things running through my mind as you've been speaking, and you know, it's not just about mentality. It's like, even to start like the Luton acting hub. It's like that's a lot of humility as well, to like be able to see like this is working, and to then not just be like, I'm just gonna go and do it on my own. You were like, cool, I know someone that's already done it. I'm gonna let go of my ego and just ask him like, yo, like, is it all right if I take this formula forward?
To frame it more though as well, because I want to even detail how much humility is in this. It wasn't just this one conversation. Then anything that happens at this place after that, if people come, like, because people have come now from Luton Acting Hub, and they'll be like, yeah, Aaron told me about that. But Aaron also like, yeah, he told me that that's why he started it, So it's a guy who's now having success in something completely, you know, different with Luton Acting Hub. And it's so easy for us all to be like, I did that, that's me. But like always being like, yeah, like this is my thing, but like, in the same way you've been speaking about Richard Blackwood, just always kind of trusting and respecting like where you get these different things from, and honouring it and respecting it always. I've never met someone that has acted like that really in the way you have with something like that. Sometimes you call me about things like this and I'm like, wow, my bro, you don't even have to like, I wouldn't even expect you to ask or say that. And I feel like what that is, I think everything I would ever need to know about you as a person. That's like how I would like think of you. It's just humble to the death.
I'm gonna have to get in on this, right? Because you do something very, very similar in terms of how you. There's lots of things that come from out of Go Hub as well, and just like the opportunities that lots of people have found through you just choosing to like start this thing up, and like I always see you just paying homage to the people that have helped you along the way, the people that have allowed certain opportunities to happen, or people that have put you in contact with someone else, and so therefore you've been able to grow the opportunities that you're able to offer to people from there. Like, I just think maybe this is something that brings us all together, and we'll probably just edit this out because this is a bit wanky, but it's like it's like what you said, that idea of like connecting to something like higher and bigger than yourself, and so that allows you to kind of let go of your ego and do for others, and know that when I'm doing for me, I can also be able to give back to other people. Like you said, you know, being able to be like financially blessed through acting, you're able to help your family. You know, it's not just about you and like being able to wear nice clothes and go on holiday or do you know what I mean, and do all that kind of shit. It's like I can do that stuff, but like, you know, most importantly, I can help the people around me. I can go back to Luton and try and like apply that myself there, so that there'll be another actor from Luton that is able to do the sort of things that I've done. And I just think there's just something in that. I don't know what it is, but there's something in that you should both like pat yourselves on the back for.
No,
but
also you, and this is maybe something we should speak about in a different episode. Yeah, I want to ask you, because I think this is something that like I think about when I think about you as like something else you've navigated that I never even hear you talk about. For as much success you've had in your own career, and you're still having, and whatever you go on to do next, I'm sure it's going to be equally, if not more wonderful than anything you've done before. Your tribe and your community and your friendship group in this acting thing is like arguably some of the most successful guys in the whole industry, who are like really established on a level that I suppose we all hope to like get to. I've never heard you once compare yourself to any of these.
Never.
What do you mean compare?
You're not a hater.
Yeah.
One thing, you're not a hater,
bro.
but like you never compare yourself to like what your boys are doing, or this person's on this, and so like I should also be. I just never get that sense or energy from you.
Whereas that entitlement that you deserve anything.
At all. Whereas
I
think there are a lot of people that can
Right.
that it would be very easy to do that again.
I would say most people you come across, and like not to like shit on it, but like I always think there's like quite different types of actors. You have like quite actory actors that all feel quite like serving and seeking, and their interest is themselves and their career, nothing else. And then you have other people who happen to act, but like who I feel are people that I call my friends, like you guys. I don't think the majority of people who act would find it so easy to be rubbing shoulders and like not just industry friends, real friends with people who are like blowing the roof off what we've all felt was achievable for British actors. Like, has that always been something that's just been so easy in life for you to navigate?
Yeah, I suppose so, because I mean, it has to be, because I didn't know it was a thing, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm just proud of my people. Like, I remember when my cousin Ashley, who you worked with,
Yeah, shout out Bashi, man. Lovely.
he says whenever I congratulate him on his success or whatever, he says, yeah, when one wins, we all win. And I remember when he first said it to me like years back, and I was like, I don't actually quite get that yet, but it sounds sick. You know what I'm saying? It sounds sick. But when you actually like start to understand it, you're like, yes, that's absolutely true, because I gain information from you. I gain information from yourself. And it's no different to gaining information from any other of my other friends. You know what I'm saying? If I can't gain information from you, or if you're,
we're not serving one another,
then it's going to be hard for us to be friends, because we don't
value to one another. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not even a thing of oh, you're not telling me something, I'm not going to be your friend. The common ground is going to be, it's not going to be a flow. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a block somewhere. But yeah, everyone has their own journey, and that's their journey, and I'm proud of them. I'm proud of you guys. Feel me? I'm proud of myself.
Proud of you too, bro.
Thank you, man.
yeah, proud of you, or both of you.
Thank you.
Not that proud of you, bro. But
True.
But yeah, that's just the homies, isn't it?
Nah, man, that's
what a beautiful
why you're here. That's why we wanted you on today.
beautiful note to end this one on, bro. I don't know why we didn't think of Aaron way sooner, bro.
We did. We spoke about it when we first did it.
We did. I just, you know what? It's
You
crazy.
was away as well.
Oh yeah,
I was
you were.
away,
That's
but
what I did. Yeah, you were.
I was like,
inside
what would I even speak about if I came on it? I was like, I don't know if I'm accomplished enough to be speaking on any type of podcast yet.
Are we?
You feel me? You feel me? But no, but
conversation,
that's the thing. It's I hold my friends in high regard. You feel me? So I'm always like, yeah, after the next thing, I'm gonna come on and I'll speak about something. But yeah.
Nah, thank you,
Nah,
man. I
we
really,
appreciate you, bro.
really appreciate you being here today, and
I love, man.
just
Thank you for having
being
me.
so open, sharing that with everyone. Thank you to whoever watches, and we have our word that these will be more consistent from now.
See you again in 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always ask as well, the guest that comes on,
Yes.
just because it's good for us to like, I suppose, know where we're going with this. It's something we feel passionate about, but still super keen on sort of like learning and being open to like what it might turn into.
Definitely still figuring it out.
Yeah, still very much figuring it out, but I'm trying to do that through like the wonderful guests like yourself who come on. So we always like to ask like, who that would you like to see on the podcast? But there's a trick to it. Whoever you say, you have to have some involvement in helping get them on the show. Who do you think, knowing you've seen the episodes, but also now being a part of it, who has something that you feel like could come on and be as generous as you in giving so much to anyone that might come across it?
That's easy, bro. I'm gonna nominate Tosin Cole.
I actually love Toxic to come on. Shout him.
How would you?
That's your responsibility now.
I will.
It's your
I'll tell him.
responsibility.
Yeah, he's got.
He's a low key guy as well,
Exactly.
bro. For someone who's like, I think he's like success is some of the most under the radar success.
Bruh,
Yeah.
them ones there where it's like,
Yeah.
I actually think those are the best kind of successes though.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you don't have
yeah.
that spotlight necessarily shine on you. You're just doing your thing and you're happy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
He's the same as man. Like,
No, he's exactly like you met. Like, obviously, I met him through you. This guy, bro. If you spent time with him, I don't know if he'd ever mention acting. Like, you might not know he even acts.
yeah, for sure.
As humble can be. I've seen him. We play basketball together. One kid was like, "Oh, I saw you in something." He was like, "Yeah, thanks, bro." And then it turns out the kid was like interested in acting. The next few weeks, bro, this guy's dropping. They're coming together. Like, Tosin's picking him up in the morning, bringing him, just like sharing wisdom with him. I'm like, wow, like that's not maybe what you would expect him to be like, but he's also super, super generous with like kind of anyone that's real.
Yeah, for sure. We met in Jamaica.
A wedding.
Yeah,
you
wedding.
told me this.
A wedding.
Yeah.
And I went because it was loads of females there, innit? And the only person I knew like was
Snakes.
was the females there. Like and Tossin was there. I was like, oh, I swear I know your face from somewhere. I just thought it was from the ends. I got confused. Maybe it was from one of my mandem or whatever. He was like, yeah, man, just got one of those faces, isn't it? and then come to realize, someone goes, oh yeah, he's on Hollyoaks. I was like, this motherfucker, like, it's got one of those faces. Ever since then, I've always used that line. Always used that line.
Shout out Tossin. But again, thank you for being here.
Love, bro.
Glad to be back doing OtherThan podcast.
Yes.
Have a wonderful rest of the year, my
Love, my bro.
Grateful for you, bro.
Peace.
Love.
Love.